All right, so we are going to jump into our fourth topic of the conversation today, and they are UFC 260 had just added two more cards to the fights. The possibility of Kamaru Usman moving to middleweight, Leon Edward is taking on Belal Muhammad on March 13th, and Bellator ranking. Okay. Let's go to the first topic, which is UFC 260. And you guys, UFC 260 had just added two more cards to their event. We got Sean O'Malley taking on Thomas Almeida, and also adding to that card there is Tyrone Woodley taking on Vincent Luque. You know what? UFC 260 is looking better and better. It's just the fact that with the addition of these two cards, we also have Peter Yan taking on Aljamain Sterling. Is that the one? I believe that's the one. I'm gonna have to double check that. Also, we also have the heavyweight champion, which is Stipe Miocic, taking on Francis Ngannou. I think that is going to be one hell of a fight. Okay, so let's take a look at these two guys, or four guys, with these two additional cards coming up. So first of all, I would like to start off with Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley, he's got a record of 12-1, and his previous fights was at UFC 252, which is headlined by Stipe Miocic, taking on Daniel Cormier 3 on August 15th, 2020. And well, you guys know what happened there. With the record of 12-1, that is his lone loss within his UFC career, well, within his career as a whole. Man, and that was a beating. In my opinion, Sean O'Malley in that fight versus Marlon Moraes, that was a beating. And this is the reason why I say that. He did not look like it was himself. In my opinion, I thought that he came out kind of flat and paid the price. So yeah, so that's what happened there. But like I said, that is just my opinion. I thought that he came out kind of flat in that one. But also, you know what? I don't take anything away from Marlon Moraes. He looks really, really good. And also his opponent for that evening, for this fight coming up at UFC 260, he is facing off against Thomas Almeida, which Almeida, he's having a bit of a rough run lately. The last 5 fights, he is 1-5. And the following loss within those last 5 fights are Jonathan Martins, Rob Font, Jimmy Rivera, and Cody Garbrandt. And his lone win was versus Albert Morales at UFC Fight Night. Holy smokes. UFC Fight Night, November 19, 2016, which was headlined by Ryan Bader against Antonio Nogueira in 2016. Holy shit. Okay, you guys, I am not a big believer of a tune-up fight. but this matchmaking coming up, in my opinion, in my mind, this is a definition of a tune-up fight. You have a guy that's just coming off his first loss ever, and also on top of that, we have a guy that is never lost. Sorry, we have a guy that's coming off like one win within the last 5, and also Sean O'Malley, he is one of the biggest names that the UFC have in their roster right now. In my mind, this is 100% a 2-5 for Sean O'Malley. I realize that in the UFC there's no such thing as a 2-1 fight, and the reason why I'm saying that this is one of them is just based on their record. based on their record, and also on top of that, based on the popularity of each fighter. Okay, so that is one of the 2 cards that the UFC have added to the fight night, and the other one that's coming up that they also added is Tyrone Woodley is taking on Vincent Luque. And I'm just looking at their records here. Tyrone Woodley, he's on a 3-fight losing streak. His last win was against Darren Till at UFC 228, which is at September 8th, 2018. And after that, he went on a 3-fight skid, losing to the champ Kamaru Usman at UFC 35 to lose his welterweight title. And then he lost to Gilbert Burns at UFC Fight Night, May 30, 2020. And also in 2020, he faced Colby Covington in September, and that was lost as well. Wow. And his opponent, Vincen Luque, he is, let's have a quick count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He's 8-1 within his last 9. Holy smokes. Let's get back to tune-up fight. This one, like, for whom? I realized that these guys were active, so I shouldn't be calling this a tune-up fight. Let's just say fight to get back on track. Fight to get back on track. And goddamn. Wow, this is a big fight for Tyrone Woodley. It's a mandatory win for him. He's got to win this fight. I mean, he's on a 3-fight losing skid, and he's come against a beast in Vincent Luque with 8-1 within the last 9. Holy smokes, man! Tyrone Woodley, this is it. You got to, man. You got to win this one. You were a former champ. You lost to. I realized that your 3 loss was to the current champ, and Gilbert Burns, the person who just challenged the champ for the title, and we know what happened there. He lost. And on top of that, the other one that he lost to was Colby Covington. And now the UFC is tossing him against Vincent Luque. I am getting the opinion that the UFC, they are not liking Tyrone Woodley at the moment. Like, as I previously mentioned with Chin O'Malley, I believe that the UFC is giving Chin O'Malley a tune-up fight, and this is so far from it. This is so far from tune-up fight. To me, this might be a lamb to slaughter. Oh my goodness. Am I a fan of his? I don't mind him. I think he's a great fighter. I mean, look at him. He's a beast of an athlete. He is a former champ, and I would like to see him come back and do well. But I don't think Vincent Luque is the person that you want to come back and face against. He's just on such a massive hot streak right now. Let's look at his last 9 fight. Well, he did beat Nico Price twice, Randy Brown, Mike Perry, Derek Grant, Brian Barberina, Julian Turner, and Chad Laprise. Okay. And his lone loss was to Stephen Thompson. You know what? Looking at Vincent Luque's record right here, I don't see anyone in the top 5 that he has beat. And the person that he fought, I say like top 10 right now, is Stephen Thompson. I realized that the UFC ranking, they're always fluctuating, they're always changing. I'm not even gonna look. at the record right now because, like I said, it's always changing. And Randy Brown and Nico Price. Nico Price was, I thought that Nico Price was going to be a big prospect for the UFC, and then he went on this ridiculous run of one win, one loss, one win, one loss, one win, one loss. And on top of that, Wonderboy Thompson, which he lost to. I believe at that time he's fighting at, I believe Steven was ranking number 7 as of that time. But yeah, those are tough competition. But for Tyrone Woodley, as right now, if you ask me to pick who I believe is going to win that fight, I don't know. The fight is quite a bit away. Like it's on UFC 270. I believe that's March. Is that one coming up? Yeah, it's coming up. It's March 6th. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna make my pick right now. If I was to make a pick for those fight coming up between Tyrone Woodley and Vincent Luque, I am gonna go with Tyrone Woodley to beat Vincent Luque, and I believe that he is gonna finish him. And the other one between Sean O'Malley versus Thomas Almeida. You know what, guys? You might hate me. You might call me a hater. But I am going to pick Thomas Almeida in this one. So I believe that the wear and tear of the fight game is catching up to Sean O'Malley. And I'm just nitpicking here. I realize that this is not the overall reason that I should pick of. This should not be the overall reason that I am picking out Almeida to win, because I believe that Almeida he's really need to win this one. I mean, he's on 3-fight losing skid. If he loses this one coming up, there are a possibility of him being released. I just believe that Sean O'Malley, his frame, his body, he looks a bit too frail for me, and that including his foot injury. Who knows? Like, who knows how much that has healed. I realized that for him to come back and fight into UFC, to be competing into UFC, he must get an approval from the UFC doctor. So those are the following reasons why I'm picking against Sean O'Malley. I'm going to go with Thomas Almeida for the win. And for Tyrone Woodley versus Vincent Luque, I realized at first I did mention that Vincent is on such hot streak right now. I mean, he's 8-1 in the last 9, and Tyrone Woodley, he is 0-3. He's on a 3-fight losing skid. I could see a high possibility of him winning against Vincent Luque. So I'm picking Tyrone Woodley for the win. I believe that he is going to finish him. So that's my 2 picks as of right now. And for the main event for that fight card, for the UFC 260, and the main event is Stipe Miocic versus Francis Ngannou. That is going to be a very tough fight. It's just the fact that this is a rematch, and on their first meeting, my choice to win that fight was Francis Ngannou, and I thought Stipe make Francis look bad. I mean, he took him down. He had his way with him, and I am hoping that Francis would work on his wrestling, and I believe that he has. But however, his last few fights, it didn't really last long for Francis. So I can see the possibility of the same thing happen again, which Stipe is going to take him down and grind him out and finish him. Okay. Alright, guys. So those are my quick thought of the UFC 260 addition to the fight card. Sean O'Malley versus Thomas Almeida, and also Tyrone Woodley versus Vincent Luque.